Our time is short. At once. Of course. My path is clear. At once. My path is clear. Anudura. Of course. My path is clear. Anudura. My path is clear. Anudura. My path is clear. Of course. My path is clear. Bear off. I'll make short work. Victory is at hand. At once. My path is clear. At once. Anudura.
Take your time. Around.
Where shall I start? At once. My path is clear. At once. Anudura. My path is clear. At once. Bear off. Victory is at hand. Bear off. Victory is at hand. I'll make short. Bear off. I'll make short work. Victory is at hand. Of course. My path is clear. At once. I'm awake. I'm awake. My strength is yours. Where shall I strike? Bear arms. Victory is at hand. My path is clear. Anudura, of course. Our time is short. My strength is yours. My path is clear. Of course. Bear arms. Victory is at hand. Anudura, I'll make short work of it. Bear arms. Of course. Where shall I strike? I'm awake. I'm awake. Where shall I strike? I'll make short work of them. Victory is at hand. Bear arms. Victory is at hand. Bear arms.
Our allies' town needs help.
I'll make short work of it. Victory is at hand. Our time is short. Bear arms. Victory is at hand. I'm awake. I'm awake. My path is clear.
Our allies' town needs help.
At once. My strength is yours. Bear arms. Victory is at hand. I'll
Our
make
allies'
short.
town needs help.
Where shall I strike? My path is clear. At once. Our time is short. Where shall I strike? Victory is at hand. My strength is yours. Bear arms.
Our allies' town needs help.
Anudura. My path. I'm awake. I'm awake. Of course. My
Our
path
allies' town
is
needs
clear.
help.
Our time is short. My strength is yours.
Our allies' town
Bear
needs help.
arms. Anudura. Of course. My path is clear. I'm awake. I'm awake. I'll make short work. Victory is at hand. At once, my path is clear. Anudura. Where shall I strike? I'm awake. I'm awake. I'll make short work. Bear arms. My path is clear. Of course. At once. Anudura. At once. Anudura. Of course. At once. Victory is at hand. Of course. My path. Anudura. At once. Where shall I strike? I'm awake. I'm awake. Anudura. My path is clear. I'll make short work. Victory is at hand. At once. Anudura. Of course. Anudura. Our time is short.
Hello.
My strength is yours. Of course.
First blood.
Victory is at hand. Anudura. Our time is short. Bear arms. Victory is at hand. My path is clear. At once. My path is clear. Bear arms. Where shall I strike? I'll make short work of them. Victory is at hand. Our time is short. At once. Of course. I'll make short work of them. Bear arms! Anudora! At once. My path is clear. My strength is yours.
Our allies' town needs help.
Victory is at hand. I'm awake. Anudora. My strength is yours. At once. My path. I'll make sure. Of course. Bear arms.
Our allies' town needs help.
Anudora. At once. Of course. Anudora. I'll make short. Bear arms. Of course. At once. Anudora. At once.
Our allies'
Our
town
time
needs
is
help.
short. Anudora. At once. I'll make short work of them. Bear arms. Of course.
Our allies' town needs
Anudora.
help.
At once. Of course. My path is clear. Victory is at hand. Of course. Anudora. At once. My path is clear. Anudora. My path is clear. Of course. My path is clear. Anudora. I'll make short. Once. Our time is short. In Lord Brasil's name. Of course. At once. Victory is at hand. Anudora. I'll make short. Once. Anudora. My path is clear. Victory is at hand. Bear arms. I'll make short. Anudora. Of course. At once. Of course. Anudora. Of course. Bear arms. I'll make short. At once. My path. Victory is at hand. I'll make short work of them. Anudora. Is at hand. Bear arms. I'll make short. In Lord Brasil's name. Victory is at hand. Anudora. At once. I'll make short. Bear arms. Victory is at hand. My strength is yours. Anudora. Where shall I strike? Of
Our
course.
allies' town needs help.
Anudora. Of course. Anudora. I'll make short. Bear arms.
Our allies' town needs help.
Of course. At once. Anudura. I'm awake. I'm awake. I'll make short work of them. My path is clear. Of course. Anudura. At once. My path is clear. Bear arms. I'll make short. Victory is at hand. Anudura. Of course. At once. Bear arms.
Our allies' town needs help.
Our time is short. I'll make short. Anudura. My path is clear.
Our
Of
allies'
course.
town needs help.
Anudura. At once. My path is clear. Of course. Where shall I strike? My strength is yours. Aye?
Hello. Our allies' town needs help.
My strength is yours. Our time is short. My path is clear. Anudura.
Thy bidding, master.
Are you threatening me?
I'm awake. I'm awake. Victory is at hand. Bear arms. Victory is at hand. I'll make short. Bear arms. I'll make short. At once. Where shall I strike? Anudura. At once. Bear arms. I'll make short. Victory is at hand. I'll make short. Of course. At once. Of course. Bear arms. I'll make short work of them. Anudura. My path is clear. Victory is at hand. Of course. At once. Anudura. At once. Anudura. My path is clear. Anudura. My path is
I
clear.
bow to your will.
I'm awake. I'm awake. Our time is short. I'll make short work of them.
Our allies' town needs help.
Victory is at course. My path is clear.
Our allies' town needs help.
At once. Where shall I strike? My path My strength is yours. In Nordrasil's name. Of course. Our time is short. I'm awake. I'm awake. My path. Of course. Our time is short. My path is clear. At once.
Our allies'
Of
town
course.
needs help.
Anudura. Bear arms. I'll make short. Bear arms. At once. I'll make short work of it. Anudura. At once. My path is clear. Of course. Victory is at hand. Bear arms. My path at once. Victory is at hand. I'll make short work. Victory is at hand. Bear arms. Victory is at hand. Of course. Bear arms. Once. I'll make short work. Bear arms. Where shall I strike? Anudura. The path is clear. In Nordrasil. My path is clear. I'll make short work of them. I'm awake. I'm awake. At once. Victory is at hand. Bear arms. My path is clear. Anudura. I'll make short. Where shall I kill at once? Anudura. Our time is short. My path is clear. Anudura. Of course. At once. Of course. My path is clear. Bear arms. Anudura. At once. Of course. At once. My path is clear. Of course. At once. Victory is at hand. My strength is yours. Where shall I strike? Anudura. At once. Our time is short.
Our allies' town
Anudura.
needs help.
At once. Anudura.
Dominating.
Our
My
allies'
strength
town
is
needs
yours.
help.
At once. Bear arms. Of course. Victory is at hand. I'll make short work. Victory is at hand. My path is clear. Of course. Anudura. My path is clear. I'll make short work. I'm awake. Of course. At once. My path is clear. Victory is at hand. Of course.
Our allies'
I'll
town
make
needs help.
short work. At once. My path is clear. At once. Victory is at hand.
Where shall my blood be spilled?
My strength is yours.
I wish only to serve.
Where shall I strike? My path is clear. Of course. My path. My strength is yours.
Our allies' town needs help.
I'll make short work. Anudura.
Our allies' town needs help.
Where shall I strike? At once. In Nordrasil's name. Victory is at hand.
Dominate.
My strength is yours. I'll make short work of it. I'm awake. I'm awake. Of course. Victory is at hand. Anudura. At once. My path is clear. Our time is short. My strength is yours. Anudura.
Where shall my blood be spilled?
Where shall I strike? Of course. At once. Anudura. My strength is yours. Bear arms. I'll make short work. At once. Of course. At once. Victory is at hand. Bear arms. Victory is at hand. I'll make short work. In Nordrasil's name. Of course. Bear arms. At once. My path. Victory is at hand. At once. Anudura. Bear arms. Victory is at hand. Of course. Anudura. Once. Anudura. Bear arms. I'll make short work of it. At once. Of course. At once. Victory is at hand.
Our allies' town needs help.
I'll make short work of them. My path. I'm awake. I'm awake. Victory is at hand. What is your wish?
Are you threatening me?
Our warriors
Time
have
is
engaged
short.
the enemy.
Bear arms. I'll make short. Anudura, my path is clear.
Our allies' town needs help.
At once. Bear arms. Victory is at hand.
Our
Anudura.
allies' town needs help.
Of course. Anudura, my path is clear. Bear arms. I'll make short. Bear arms. Victory is at hand. Anudura. Of course. Anudura. Bear arms. Victory is at hand. I'll make short. My path.
Our allies' town needs help.
Of course. My path is clear. At once.
Unstoppable.
I'm awake. I'm awake. Victory is at hand. Bear arms. Victory is at hand. I'll make sure.
Unstoppable.
Victory is at hand. In Nordrasil Plain.
Wicked stand kill.
Victory is at hand. I'll make short. Bear arms.
Own it.
I'll make short. Victory is at hand. Of course. Bear arms.
Monster kill.
Victory is at hand. My path. At once. My path is clear. Anudura. Of course. My path is clear. At once. Of course. Bear arms. Victory is at hand. Bear arms. Anudura. At once. I'll make short. Bear arms. Anudura. My path is clear. Anudura. At once. Of course. My path is clear. Anudura. Bear arms. I'll make short. Victory is at hand. I'll make short.
Our allies' town needs help.
Victory is at hand.
Our warriors
course.
have engaged the enemy.
My strength is yours. once, I'll make short work.
Godlike.
Lord Brasil's name.
Wicked sick.
Bear arms. I'll make short work. My path is clear.
Our warriors have engaged the enemy.
I'm awake. I'm awake. Anudora. My path is clear. Our time is short. At once. Bear arms. My path is clear. Anudora.
I bow to your will.
Our warriors have
My
engaged.
strength is yours. I'll make short. Victory is at hand. Of course. I'll make short. Bear arms. I'll make short work of it. I'm awake. I'm awake. At once. Anudora. Bear arms.
Our allies' town needs help.
Victory is at hand. Of course. At once. My path is clear. Our time is short.
Our allies' town needs help.
Bear arms. Victory is at hand. At once. Anudora. Victory is at hand. My path is clear. Of course. At once.
Our warriors
no
have
time to
engaged
rest.
the enemy.
What?
Where shall I strike? Anudora. At once. Of course. Anudora. My path is clear. At once. I'll make short. Victory is at hand. My path is clear. I'll make short work of it. Anudora, my strength is yours. At once.
Where shall my blood be spilled?
Our time is short. Of course. My strength is yours.
Killing spree.
Victory is at hand.
Our allies' town needs help.
Bear arms. Of course. Anudora. Victory is at hand. Bear arms. Of course. My path is clear. Victory is at hand.
Wait till you see me in action.
I'm awake. I'm awake. At once. My path is clear. Anudora. Of course. I'll make short work. Bear arms. Victory is at hand. once. My path is clear. Anodora, my path is clear. Of course, my path is clear. At once. Anodora. Our time is short. At once. Bear arms. Of course. In North Brazil.
Holy shit.
Victory is at hand.
I am ready.
I'm awake. I'm awake. Bear arms. Victory is at hand. My path is clear. Anodora. At once. My strength is yours. I'll make short. In North Brazil's name. Anodora. Of course. At once. Anodora. Our time is short. Of course. Anodora. At once. Victory is at hand. I'll make short. Victory is at hand. Bear on. Victory is at hand. In North Brazil's name. My path is clear. Bear on. I'll make short work of them. Of course.
Our allies' town needs help.
Victory is at hand. Anodora. Of course. Anodora. My strength is yours. Of course. My path is clear.
Are you threatening me?
Our
Our
warriors
time
have
is
engaged the enemy.
I'll make short work of them. At once. Anodora. Of course. At once. Victory is at hand. I'll make short work. In North Brazil's name. I'm awake. I'm awake. Victory.
Dominating ownage.
I wish only to serve.
My strength is yours. Of course. My path is clear. At once. Of course. At once. My path is clear.
Our warriors have engaged the enemy.
Awake. I'm awake. At once. My path is clear. Anodora. I'll make short. At once. Of course. My path is clear. Victory is at hand. In Nordrassil's name. Of course. I'll make short. Bear arms.
Killing spree.
Victory is at hand. Anudura. I'll make short work. Victory is at hand. Bear arms. At once. Anudura. I'll make short work. My path. Anudura. Victory is at hand. At once. My strength is yours. My path is clear. In Nordrassil's name. Bear arms. At once. Victory is at hand. My path is clear. In Nordrassil's name. Of course. At once. Anudura. I'll make short work of it. I'm awake. I'm awake. Victory is at hand. At once. Of course. Anudura. I'll make short work. Of course. Anudura. Of course. Victory is at hand. At once.
Mega kill.
Where shall I strike?
My life for Nazul.
My strength is yours. My path is clear. Of course. My path is clear. I'm awake. I'm awake. Anudura. My path is clear. Victory is at hand. I'll make short. At once. Of course. At once. Of course. Victory is at hand. At once. I'll make short. Anudura. Of course. My path is clear. Victory is at hand. I'll make short. Anudura. At once. Of course. At once. Anudura. Bear arms. Victory is at hand.
Ownage.
Of course. Where shall I strike? My path is clear. Of course. Anudura. My path is clear. Bear arms. Of course. I'm awake. I'm awake. At once. Anudura. Victory is at hand. path is clear. Of course. Anudura. Victory is at hand. Bear arms. At once. Anudura. At once. Anudura. Victory is at hand. Where shall I strike? At once. My path is clear. At once. Of course. Anudura. I'll make short. I'm awake. In Nordrasil's name.
Give me something to do! Are you threatening me?
Unstoppable.
The sleeper has awakened. Our time is short. Where shall I strike? At once. I'm awake. I'm awake. I'll make short work of them. Victory is at hand. I'll make short work. Of course. Victory is at hand. Bear arms. Victory is at hand. Bear arms. Victory is at hand. My path is clear. Anudura. Of course. Bear arms. I'll make short work of them. Bear arms. At once. Of course. Anudura. At once.
Our allies' town needs help.
Victory is at hand. Our time is short. Of course. Anudura. Of course. At once. My path is clear. Bear arms. Of course. At once.
Where shall my blood be spilled?
Where shall I strike? Anudura. Of course. My path is clear. Anudura. My path is clear.
Our allies'
At
town
once.
needs help.
Anudora, of course. Anudora, of course. Victory is at hand.
Our allies' town
My
needs help.
path is clear. I'll make short work.
Killing spree.
There are at once. Anudora, at once. Anudora, at once. My path is clear. There are Anudora.
I bow to your will.
What?
I'm awake. I'm awake. Victory is at hand. My path is clear. At once. Of course. My path is clear. At once. My path is clear. Of course. Anudora. I'll make short. Victory is at hand. Of course. Anudora. At once. Anudora. My path is clear. Of course. My path is clear. At once. Anudora. Of course. Where shall I strike? At once. Our time is short. Where shall I strike? Anudora. I'll strength is yours. Of course. At once. My path is clear. I'm awake. Anudora. Of course. I strength is yours.